Hi, I'm Sangeet. Welcome to video number 3 in this series where we're looking into using my flat mould transfer system. In this particular video we're going to be looking at the application process, and I'll be talking a little bit about paint and how to use it properly. Step number 6, apply and paint. Firmly press the transfer mould into place, particularly around the edges. Carefully peel the mould away, apply powder, blend edges with solvent and finish with paint and effects. Right, okay, so hello, we're back here a few days later from our last video. We've run pieces and this is my model Deirdre, who's going to be sitting for us today. We are going to apply our bullet wound piece that we ran the other day around here on Deirdre's shoulder. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to introduce the kit that I've got for applying and talk a little bit about the piece itself. Okay, so here we have our pieces that we've been running. So I've left this piece out and I've run some Bondo into these pieces, but we're not necessarily going to be doing them today. This is our piece that we're going to be running today. Sorry, this is the piece that we're going to be applying today. Step number 5 is trimming glue. In our last video we trimmed the edge of the piece, but we didn't necessarily glue it, so Bruce is going to talk a little bit about that. Now here I have some silicone adhesive, which is a 50-50 mix of adhesive and thinners, and I'm going to apply 2 layers of this to my piece. With a traditional appliance you're probably going to be gluing it on bit by bit, right? But the idea with the transfer method is that you can do all your gluing in the piece. Now, there's some critical things to remember here, right? If I'm gluing up to the edge of my cut plastic, okay, I don't really want to go over onto the silicone, because that's going to mean A, my silicone mould will probably stick to my model, and B, you'll end up with glue all over your mould, which is a bit of a bugger to clean off. Now, I'm not quite sure what you're picking up with the cameras, but you know, I can kind of see a clear distinction between my silicone mould and the cap plastic and then the plat gel. So what I'm doing with my glue brush is just making sure I kind of cover all of that transition area. So it's always best to glue your piece before you're at to sit down in the chair. So I'm just going to put this away for now. I'll move over to Deirdre. So we'll move back here. So skin prep is important. I'm going to use an astringent. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I've now cleaned Deirdre's skin with some astringent, and what I've got to do next is apply my adhesive to her skin. So I'm just going to offer my piece, my mould, up to Deirdre's shoulder and kind of figure out where I want the placement. Now these moulds, all skin has a kind of directional grain to it, right? And they're called Langer lines. I'm going to use the texture in my piece to figure out where these directions go and get my placement right. So the idea is that I'm using this now to just kind of figure out where the glue pattern is going to go on Deirdre's arm. And now I'm going to apply 2 layers of this 50-50 dilution to Deirdre's skin, and I don't mind if I go over the shape of the piece a little bit. That's not a problem, but I do want to make sure that I cover all the surface that I need to. Right, so now I've applied my glue. I'm fairly sure that this is dry. Should be just tacky to the skin. I'm going to pick a spot, one side, press down there and just kind of roll it into place. Fairly gently so I'm not kind of displacing or pushing anything. Now that it's there, I'm now going to press. I should now be able to let go, and it kind of stays there. I can see it's already kind of starting to lift off a little bit on its own. So you should see now the piece is already coming away from the mould. I'm not really having to do very much, it's just coming away on its own. And relax it. Nice. Bit of an edge there, but I can just press that into place. So I've got a tiny little wrinkle there because of the contour of the shoulder, I suppose, but by the time I blend that away I can live with that. Now I've put the piece on, it's gone on very well actually, and you can see with just a light amount of pressure around these edges I can help it sit into place better. And I feel like it's still tacky around the side from the glue, that's good. There's a kind of floaty edge there. That's probably a case of either not having enough glue on the piece itself or just not enough on her skin. Pressing that down is not really resolving very much. And there's a couple of other little points like that. But at this point now, before I do anything else, I'm going to use my solvent brush. So solvent, what you don't want to do is like saturate your brush and just go straight onto it. That's not very nice for Deirdre's skin, it's cold and it is a chemical. Plus you'll likely just obliterate all your cat plastic and melt everything and it'll all go a bit nasty. So I can feel it's moist, but it's not leaving a wet trail, or anything that it does just evaporates almost instantly. I'm just going to use that to gently blend these edges. So piece is now on, blended, but still sticky, right? I don't want to put makeup on this yet. So now that I use my powder puff and some powder. With powder, again, less is more, so I've just got a very small amount in there. And I'm just going to use this to press into place. Now I can see like you can barely see the amount of powder that I've put in there, right? And it takes a few dabs for it to kind of collect all the powder that was on my puff, but you can kind of now clearly see like the halo from where I've applied the glue. So that's good because now that glue is set, right? So what we see here now is silicone, cat plastic and powder. That's like blended really nicely now and it's kind of smooth and soft. And I'm not getting any awkward wrinkles. I'm not going to paint this yet, it's not ready for painting. What I need to do now is kind of unify all this surface and try and disguise this powder halo. So I'm going to use Final Seal. I'll spray a little bit onto my powder puff. I'm just going to use this to powder puff, and I'm going to use this to wipe over everything. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of removing excess powder and kind of sealing all that glue in the surface of the appliance, right? So that dries in a second, and now that's all one surface that will take paint in a uniform way. I always start by just generally activating my entire palette with some alcohol. You can see here the dilution of colours that I tend to use, right? You want really thin washes, and rather than putting solid blocks of colour down, I'm going to be using a stipple brush and creating kind of using a pointillistic effect to build up layers of colour. So now my paint is done, I'm happy with that, but what you might be able to pick up is that it's kind of shiny in some places, quite matte in others, you know, natural looking. So I'm going to use some matte sealer over the whole of this. Now this is already partially diluted, but I'm probably going to add a little bit more alcohol to it. So it gets a bit noisy with the compressor, so I'm just going to test. You should just be able to see a very small amount, very thin wash of spray coming out. Okay, so I've applied a layer of my matte sealer over that, and this is now ready for blood. Probably just smear it around. No, the idea is I just kind of want to, I'm just smearing this around just to create, yeah, kind of more blood smears. Cool, this is more, that's great. That's it. That's how you quickly apply a prosthetic. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope you've enjoyed and learned lots from them. Do look out on my channel for more stuff regarding painting and makeup removal, and in future hopefully mould making and other fun things. Please hit like, subscribe to my channel, check out my Instagram and my Twitter feeds, there's some great stuff on there as well. And for more information, check out studiosangeet.com.